Hey, it's Nintenbros.
Hi!
What's going on, podcast listeners? Welcome back to yet another episode of Nintenbros. Today's episode is our infamous game battle, and it is episode number 63. Today's game battle pits up Luigi's Mansion on Gamecube versus The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Wii U/Switch.
Alright, now, hear us out, I guess. I'm talking, and I am actually for Breath of the Wild, so you should be the one saying hear us out, but, just go on.
Alright, so we like to break down these game battles into a systematic ritual that we have become accustomed to. We break it into the box art, game art, then the reception, then 2 sentences, how it plays, some statistics, and then some pitfalls and remakes and replayability, and a bunch of other stuff. So without further ado, let's just dive right into how does our box art look? Starting with Luigi's Mansion, because that's your boys.
Okay.
So Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube stars Luigi's head, just like really scared looking. Basically just his head. There's no body of Luigi, and it's kind of weird looking when you just look at it, but
Oh, great case.
yeah, but I mean it suits the Luigi Mansion vibes. Multiple different ghosts are behind it. So you got the Boos, you got the blue ghost, you got the pink ghost, you got the orange ghost in the distance. I just want to throw it out here because I didn't really find a appropriate spot to put this, but it did come out November 18th, 2001. And the box art also promotes mysteries and puzzles inside the mansion. It shows off collectibles such as the cash you can get and the Boos. And it also promotes the introduction of the Poltergust 3000, which is like, the vacuum cleaner you use around the mansion.
Hey, yeah, I mean, at least it has that going for it, right?
Yeah, so what does The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild show?
Alright, Breath of the Wild on the main cover, the front, it just shows Link staring off into a huge open world. My computer, it's a little bit blurry, but I think the actual cover is a little more like bright and you can see more color to it. But, it's just like he's about to embark on a great adventure. So, pretty awesome there. He's holding the sword, you got the shield, got the whole Legend of the Zelda Breath of the Wild look to him, because that's like a different look than the past ones. And then on the back, it's just like a bunch of cool things, like he's running, he's going to go and fight. It shows you like a little bit of the story, introduces it a little bit, and shows how you can craft like food and craft other things. And the basic thing of Zelda in defending the legend, I guess.
All right, very, very good. Moving right along, we go into the reception the audience had, both gamers and casual, for Luigi's Mansion. The gamers saw it as a more so positive, mediocre type title. It was a 7 out of 10. They rated it generally positive, but criticized for being very short and not living up to the hype of being the next Super Mario 64. Because this game was a launch title, and it came off of the Nintendo 64, and everyone was just so hyped about Super Mario 64. When they saw the next Mario game coming onto the scene, they thought Luigi's Mansion was going to be like the next quote-unquote Mario game, but it really didn't prove to be that way. It was more of like a spin-off. So the gamers who were like diehard about it were a little bit sad. But then you go look at the casual reception. The casual reception was a bit more positive because people just liked the new direction the series took at that moment, enjoyed the simplicity of the puzzles and the exploration, and hindsight has helped this game, especially after Sunshine came out. Because once Sunshine came out, they were like, okay, this is what the successor for Super Mario 64 was supposed to be, and then people gave Luigi's Mansion a little more slack.
Yeah, that's true, but that's really heavy criticism, especially for like Luigi's Mansion. I don't know, maybe it made more sense at the time, but
it did, because Luigi's Mansion at the time wasn't like a series people knew. It was like a brand new game. It's like basically Pokemon Red Mystery Dungeon and Blue Mystery Dungeon starting out like for the first time ever. Like people thought it was the next Pokemon game, but it was a spin-off. So. Yeah,
they don't know if it's going to be like spin-off nature, like true games. All right, that makes sense. For me, I get some reviews because, obviously my games are usually just really good reviewed, I guess. Yeah. So, IGN rated it a 10 out of 10. Metacritic gave it a 97%. And Polygon rated it a 10 out of 10. We're going to go casual gamers first because it makes more sense. For a casual gamer who hasn't played much Zelda before, they will love this entry because of how wide open and expansive it is. They can do whatever they want while also being guided slightly, and casual gamers found this a fantastic game and didn't feel like they were missing out on much by not playing the previous entries, as there were only a few references to older Zelda games that you didn't really need to know necessarily.
Okay.
For gamers They will absolutely love this game because of everything it brought casual gamers and more. There's references to older Zelda games like I just said, and they will be able to use previous Zelda knowledge to help them through this one. Most of everyone loved this game, but of course there's always a few critics of a new type of approach to a Zelda game like this, but that will happen with pretty much every game. So
similar to Legends of Arceus for the Pokemon game, there were so many people who loved Arceus, and Arceus is just known as like the next good Pokemon series. But there's just some haters out there that just love to hate.
There's always going to be haters of like a new kind of take on the main series. So
exactly. So this brings us to 2 sentences of how our game plays. I'll go first. Luigi has won a mansion, but unfortunately it is rampant with ghosts and Mario has gone missing inside. Through teaming up with Professor Egad and using the new Poltergust 3000, Luigi explores the mansion's many puzzles, sucking up ghosts along the way to save his brother.
Wow, that's a great description. That was very well put together. Did you get a 100 in English?
No, I didn't actually.
All right.
I almost failed senior year English.
Okay, my bad. 2 sentences of how Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild plays. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a game all about exploration. You travel across mountains, rivers, dungeons, forests, and more to create better foods and weapons. You control Link on your journey to kill Calamity Ganon and restore peace to Hyrule.
That sounds intense.
It is very intense. I have not gotten far through the game much at all. I will be honest.
Wow. Okay. So now we move on to our copies sold, and this is where Luigi's Mansion gets a little funky because for the copies sold first week or month, I'll be honest, I really couldn't find a specific number, but it is also like more than 20 years old at this point.
Very true.
But then it's weird because I did find a statistic about it being like the best-selling game for November of 2001. But then it doesn't show me numbers, so I don't really know.
Yeah, that's going to happen with older games. So.
But I just want to put down, not applicable for the copies sold for the first week or month, but copies sold overall. 3.3 million copies were sold, making it the 5th best-selling GameCube game of all time.
Wow, 5th best-selling GameCube game.
5th best-selling
That's actually really good.
It is very good. And I just want to throw it out there that I know your copies sold is probably just going to blow mine out of the water. But let's put this into perspective of the GameCube era. The GameCube era was the same era as the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 2 was very dominant. It was also a lot less gamers on the scene because it was 20 plus years ago. So 3.3 million is a lot for this time, for early 2000s.
You said 5th best on the GameCube?
Yes.
All right. Well, no, that's just, so copies sold in the first month for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was 2.74 million units just on the Switch. It would surpass 3 million with both Wii U and Switch, but I think that's kind of unfair. That's like selling Luigi's Mansion on PlayStation 2 as well, and that'd just be not right. But copies sold overall as of December 31st, 2021, it has sold 25.80 million units, coming in as the 4th best-selling Nintendo Switch game.
Why you gotta say it like that, man?
I don't know how I said it. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, just a little bit more than Luigi's Mansion.
Maybe a little bit.
All right, moving on to completion time. So, if you're just trying to go through the game and have a good time, Luigi's Mansion is really not going to be that long. It's going to be 6.5 hours or so. Right. And then if you're going for 100% completion, trying to get a lot of money and get all those 50 boos, you're looking at a total of maybe 8 hours. We'll breeze over that.
Wow, so adds about an hour and a half of extra content.
Okay. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion's got it like that.
All right, so completion time for Breath of the Wild, it's going to be around 50 hours if you're just doing the main tasks. And 100% completion time is actually going to take you around 189 hours. So that's a lot. I can't really compare of how, if it's better stuff, I don't know. I know there's a crap ton of stuff to do. Whether that makes it better or worse,
Moving right along, we got our biggest successes. The biggest success for Luigi's Mansion was, as a launch title for the Nintendo GameCube, it was seen as a tech demo to show off what the GameCube was capable of. It introduced realistic lighting and took full advantage of how all the buttons on the GameCube controller had. Depending on how hard you press the L and the R shoulder button would affect the intensity of the Poltergust 3000. The game also took advantage of both analog sticks, something up until this game Nintendo did not take advantage of. In Super Mario 64, you had you didn't have those two analog sticks because you're on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And then just Nintendo has never done that before, prior to Luigi's Mansion. That's kind of cool.
It feels like every game you get, it like introduces something new on the controller. I swear, whatever game you're going for, it introduces something new on the controller. Something, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, my biggest success for Breath of the Wild is how open and free the game lets you play. So many of Nintendo games in general are very guiding and push you towards your objectives super heavily. But in Breath of the Wild, the game simply just gives you some tasks, main ones and side ones, and lets you go and do them however and whenever you want to do them. If you want to explore and kill side bosses for hours instead of doing main objectives, then you can find tons of fun in doing that without making percentage progress, quote unquote, in the game. Basically, there's a game outside of the main objectives, and the best open world games can only truly achieve that.
Wow. You know what that game gave me vibes of? So I haven't played through Breath of the Wild all the way, but I have played a lot of Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed 2 and 3. And it kind of does give off the same vibes of that, because there's so many different like side missions you can do, and I think Breath of the Wild also has like little outposts that you go up and try to scan the view and then get more of your map filled. That really reminds me of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, when I was looking stuff up about it, it did draw comparisons to Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. So
it's very cool. Biggest pitfall for Luigi's Mansion. Well, the completion time is maybe 7 hours if you've never played this game before. It is short, and a lot of people criticize it as just being like plainly not enough.
You know, honestly, for someone who's battling against Luigi's Mansion, I don't know, it's like kind of a crappy take. It's a GameCube game. I don't really know what you expect a spin-off Nintendo GameCube game to give you completion time wise.
I feel that.
But anyways, who am I to compliment your game, right? So Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's biggest pitfall is the difficulty, even for expert players, can be kind of confusing sometimes. Games like Skyrim and Dark Souls will lock you from an area if you aren't a high enough level, but Breath of the Wild doesn't even do that. So new players and expert players will often get blindsided and killed in one hit from monsters that they didn't realize were that strong. But I mean, hey, rather have a challenge than no challenge, right?
What would you rather want?
If you had a Zelda game that was like Kirby's Epic Yarn, that'd be kind of lame. So, but you know, I haven't really played through the whole game, so not too much of a challenge. Like a challenge, but not insane. And all I have described is a challenge. So you know, I'm not available to comment on that.
Okay, all right. Let's get into our remakes and ports and how did they fare. So Luigi's Mansion, the original, was actually ported over to the 3DS. And I'll be straight up, it didn't do as well as expected. It sold just under 500,000 copies total. To be fair, it was released on the same console as another Luigi's Mansion game, which was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, potentially making it a less desirable purchase. The game also didn't do anything to improve the nature of the GameCube game, but instead stayed true to the game as it was 15 years ago. So
yeah, but at least that game is still better than Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, so...
Yeah, at least I didn't get Dark Moon to battle up against.
Yeah, that's the worst Luigi's Mansion in my opinion.
Also, I thought this was very interesting. So the predecessor to this game, you wouldn't think that there was a game that came before this, right? In the Luigi's Mansion series. There kind of is. It's not really like a direct predecessor, but Mario is missing. It's an educational game. Oh,
yeah.
And that's like the only game I could kind of tie into being the predecessor.
Because, I mean, Mario is missing in Luigi's Mansion, so...
Yeah, so that's why I did that. And then the successor is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Yeah, bad game. Should relate with Sticker Star in that wise. Anyways, remakes ports for Breath of the Wild. This game was released on the very end of the Wii U life cycle and started on the Switches. And this was really confusing. Like, you could not find concrete, like, detail of how they were released on Wikipedia or something like that. I just found it on some weird website. But apparently... they were released for both systems at the same time on March 3rd, 2017.
I feel like that makes sense.
That does make sense, but it was just kind of weird, the lack of knowledge on it when you looked it up. So
okay.
Yeah. It was kind of a port from the Wii U, but kind of not.
I feel like it's kind of like how the Call of Duties do it as a new generation comes out. It's like, okay, Call of Duty Ghost is going to come out on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I'm pretty sure the Switch came out in 2017, and The Legend of Zelda just wanted to kind of help out the fans that were still stuck on the Wii U and couldn't get the newest system, and then also help out the fans that jumped right on the Switch. So it just like
that's true.
Like put it out on both.
Yeah.
So that's how I think that went down. Moving on to replayability. For Luigi's Mansion, the game honestly doesn't offer much replayability in terms of post-game content. You can go around and collect all 50 boos to satisfy completionists, but after that, there's nothing other than starting over and gathering more money than before to earn a better rank at the end. While on the surface this may seem bad, Luigi's Mansion is actually commonly replayed from beginning to end because of how short it is. People don't grow tired of the game as quickly, and I've seen on numerous sites this game being something that people play around Halloween each and every year just because it's like a tradition. It's almost like a tradition of like how people watch Home Alone or just certain scary movies around Halloween or Christmas movies around Christmas time. It was such a niche game and such a small time investment that it's become tradition to some of these hardcore players.
I can definitely see that for sure. But Breath of the Wild will not be a tradition because it is 50 hours long. So because this game is so long, I highly doubt the casual gamer and even some of the hardcore gamers will replay it anytime soon after they beat it. But for speedrunners, content creators, and people who just like a challenge, they can apply a variety of different challenges for a playthrough, such as limited weapons, no paraglider, no map, Link can starve, and plenty more if they wanted to replay through it.
Whew, that's a lot of options.
I know. I made sure to give options because last time I said something like that and you were like, what options?
Very good. Moving on to our last point before we start
I got
battling each other.
I got a lot.
All right, how about you start us off? I have 3.
All right, I'll start off with just, maybe a small one.
All right.
So 189 websites about deemed Breath of the Wild Game of the Year. So that's just one of them.
Just 100?
Yeah, just 189 actually.
Oh, that's not that much.
It also won 5 big game awards like BAFTA Game Award for Innovation in 2018.
What does BAFTA mean?
I don't know,
Okay,
but it's some game
award.
Did you win any awards?
Not BAFTA.
Okay, then I don't want to hear it. It won like the legit Game of the Year. Like, you know how some others just win Game of the Year on like a website or something? Like, it doesn't make sense. This is like legit Game of the Year in 2017. If you look up Game of the Year and go to 2017, Breath of the Wild is it. It won the Game Award for Most Anticipated Game in 2016. That's a weird award. It won the Game Award for Best Game Direction, and it won the Game Award for Best Action and Adventure. There's plenty more that it was nominated for and won, but it would be too much to list them all, honestly. It won a bunch from like Golden Pen or something, but I was like, there's just too much.
So it's basically a good game is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
By a lot of people's expectations.
For sure.
Luigi's Mansion. This game was one of the first games to become Player's Choice for the GameCube. Player's Choice is when a game sells exceptionally well and gets re-released in another case to entice new customers to buy it. So.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
That happened. Luigi's Mansion is also the most successful GameCube launch title.
Really?
I have.
That's big.
I have a site that cites my sources.
Oh, I believe you. Don't worry.
It's true.
All right.
So there's that. And it was also the best-selling game of November in 2001. The number, though, I don't know.
That's okay.
It just told me.
That's okay.
But that's that. So now it is time to move in. Oh, you're not done with your other?
No.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Let's
don't worry about
it. Let Breath of the Wild do its thing.
All right, I have 3 more, right? There's a complete weather system in this game, and it will punish you. For example, if you're wearing metal during a thunderstorm, you will get shocked. Good gameplay. The map is huge, and most people love that, and it also looks beautiful, so you can get lost but still be having fun, and it's beautiful all around. And there's a cooking system, and you can cook plenty of dishes, and some of them can be very beneficial under certain conditions.
Hold on. I know it's not time to roast each other, but did you watch your last video?
I did.
Put up?
Yeah.
What did you say about the cooking in Legend of Zelda?
I didn't like it. That was a joke, though. That whole video was a joke.
Now it's time to KO our opponents. I just want you to lay into Luigi's Mansion first and foremost because I feel like I have a better time defending this game than I can attacking your game right now.
Well, honestly, I don't attack it a bunch, so I'll just go straight into it. For my KO opponent, it was very honestly super hard to find info on why this game is good or bad because all search results appeared with Luigi's Mansion 3 things.
Yes, it did.
That's not a rip at Luigi's Mansion, but I won't go into it yet, but this is not comparing apples to oranges. This is comparing an old rusty car to a brand new Lamborghini. 6.5 hours to 50 is a joke. I know it's a GameCube game, but pure gameplay is obviously better for Zelda just because, well, it is. That's kind of just how it happens. I really don't have much to KO Luigi's Mansion on. I truly think it's a good game. I love it. It's just kind of silly to compare the two. I know we're in a game battle, but it's not really a battle at all. You can argue whether a game is better based on story and gameplay. Zelda has both of those and tons more. It was also a revolutionary game based on all the awards. This battle is more unfair than the 3DS versus DS.
Poor Luigi's Mansion, man. Luigi's Mansion is just getting grilled right now. So I think in the broad term of things that, yes, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to be the superior game to a lot of people. But if I'm just trying to convince you that Luigi's Mansion is better, and we're forgetting everybody else, right? We're forgetting everyone else. If I'm just trying to convince you or the viewer or the listener of this podcast that Luigi's Mansion is better than Breath of the Wild, because I can't change all the awards it won, right? Well, obviously people think that game's really good. I can't change that.
Let's make sure that there's a difference between you believing one game is better than the other and you liking one game better than the other. Because there's a difference.
Okay. I believe Luigi's Mansion is better. Okay.
I call bullshit on that.
You call cap.
Yeah.
Because, hear me out. This is my first sentence in KO Opponent. Starting things off, I would like to ask you, what is the story or the lore of a Zelda game? Tell me, how does it go?
I barely played through it.
Yeah, exactly. People don't understand Zelda unless you were, brought up with it. It's something that you literally have to start playing when you're a little kid. The story or the lore of Zelda games is something you just inherently have to know. It's not something that Breath of the Wild teaches you. It's just kind of expected.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I agree with you, honestly. I don't like it either. The story's kind of confusing.
Yes, because Zelda games... This is my next sentence. Zelda games are great games for people who love Zelda. I have tried to get into this series and become a fan for a long time, but many entries like this one make it hard for newcomers to really understand what in the world they are doing. The criticism I've heard is mostly about the abundance of rain that happens all the time. Have you gone into any search and try to find out what's wrong with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
I did, and it was honestly a bunch of sketchy websites that looked like they were April Fool's jokes.
The biggest thing I could find was the gosh darn rain. It rained 24/7. There was a forecast. This was like one of the videos, and it was like, let me show you the forecast of Hyrule and Breath of the Wild. And it was 60 degrees with rains and thunderstorms every single day. And the thing about the rain is... One thing that Breath of the Wild tried to just promote so much was being adventurous, explorative, and just being vastly open world. But when it rains, homie can't climb. Homie keeps slipping down.
Okay, let me ask you a question, right? So if they took away rain from Breath of the Wild, would it then be a better game than Luigi's Mansion?
I think it would hold a better candle, yeah. I really do.
Okay, sorry.
Because the rain pisses a lot of people off. Me included.
Okay, so potentially if it pisses off 3/4 of the fan base, you still have 6 million buying the game, right? Which is still times 2 than who bought Luigi's Mansion.
If we're going off of Luigi's Mansion 20 years ago from your game, yes. But Luigi's Mansion came into Luigi's Mansion 3 eventually, right? That's more of a comparative...
Whoa, that's not your game.
It's not my game, but it's more of a comparative title for the time, right? Okay. Unless you take Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, if you want to compare titles like that. The Gamecube one. Mm-hmm. Let me just go to Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 16 million.
Whoa,
that's sizable.
Yeah,
that's
still
sizable.
9 mil above that.
Yes. There we go. So the rain sucks. The rain hinders experience for Breath of the Wild, and the thing is, you can't skip over the rain unless you have a place to set up camp, which requires a campfire, right? Mm-hmm. But a campfire goes out if it's raining, so it's really hard to skip past the rain. And one thing that you should know is that Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, right? The one that we're playing through as our game battle.
Bringing up a lot of different games here.
The one that we're playing through right now. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time made it so that you can go from night to day playing a song. It made it so you can transport from one temple of time to the fire dungeon using a song. Mm-hmm. It's possible they could have implemented something to just make the rain go away, but they didn't. And that pisses a lot of people off. And I know this is really silly, but I don't have much to target you on, so I gotta harp on the rain, man.
That is, but then it's why did Luigi not have just blocks where he got fire flowers? Because that was in other Mario games. Why didn't they put it in this one?
Oh, I see your point. But that's just not an ability Luigi has.
That's just not his ability Zelda has in this game.
It should, though.
It should be in Luigi's Mansion, man.
I guess. Oh, that was a great save. All right. You also can't repair your weapons, making it so using the new favorite weapon you just found a complicated decision because you want to enjoy it, but you don't want to lose it.
That's actually true. I saw when I was looking up stuff, that was one of the bigger ones of how weapons just break. Like you find a god sword and it just breaks.
The only thing that you can be sure to be reliable is the Master Sword and I think the Hyrule Shield. That's the only thing that won't break. Otherwise, you find this cool like lightning rod thing that you want. You gotta make sure that you scarcely use it, or else it's gonna break like your third battle, and that pisses people off because there's also no way for you to repair it.
How many people did you see pissed off by this?
Like 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a loud silence.
All right. Previous entries, you kept your new weapon and it wouldn't break after using it. The game that we're playing through right now, Ocarina of Time, it didn't let you have all those different types of weapons, which is what Breath of the Wild was trying to promote. Like, look at all these different weapons we have.
Yeah.
But when you got a weapon in older entries, it stayed with you.
Oh, I would have no clue. I haven't played through Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Okay, this is great.
I'm just kidding. I understand the point.
All right, my last thing I want to harp on because
this is a long KO opponent, man.
Dude, I'm kind of just going for it. For some reason, Korok seeds. You know those ones, those collectibles, those 900 collectible Korok seeds.
Wow, that's a lot of collectibles.
Man. The most meticulous collectibles to date. Get this. Only about half of them serve a purpose for upgrading your inventory. The second half do nothing other than offer bragging rights.
I like bragging rights.
Dude, but it's pointless. You want a mission for doing all that stuff, right? It's just putting completionists through hell to try to just...
What is the point in 100%ing Luigi's Mansion?
Bragging rights, man.
Yeah, see, I like bragging rights. I'm just saying.
So you're saying that it's justified for them to just put 450 extra Korok seeds?
I mean, have you been held at gunpoint yet to go and get those?
No, but don't you think it should reward players who go...
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But... it's not necessary, so I mean, at the same, it's a good point, but at the same time, you just like you don't have to go get them. But
no.
I see what you're saying. It's still like obnoxious. So you have 400 that just do nothing.
Yeah. Developers put in time and effort for you to expand your inventory for the first 450, and then just were like, you know what, kibosh that. We're bored. You're probably bored. Nothing for the rest.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is what it is.
Great, that's the best way I can KO the opponent. Now it is our closing case.
All right, starting this out, what did you see when you looked up like Breath of the Wild is bad? Did you see like the headlines that were like, why Breath of the Wild is absolutely, positively, absolute garbage? It was never anything like Breath of the Wild's bad. It was always like Breath of the Wild's wildly overrated, highly overrated, right?
Lots of satire.
Yeah, lots of things that use high amounts of criticism. You want to know who gets high amounts of criticism? Legends like Tom Brady, LeBron James. Yes, this game is pretty much the GOAT of Nintendo Switch games because it receives such high criticism that people can't put up with the greatness. Furthermore, all these websites look super sketchy because there's really no mainstream game site that has heavily criticized Breath of the Wild. But beyond that, I know the rips are coming, the story is meh, the characters don't develop much. And yeah, that's all I really got. Anyone else ripping on the game seems to hate the characteristic traits of an open world game like weather, weapons breaking, and inventory space, but the game wouldn't remain difficult if those were not incorporated. I don't really have to rip on Luigi's Mansion in order to prove how Breath of the Wild is better. You have a basic story, you go around a mansion for about 6 hours finding keys and capturing a family of ghosts. It's fun, it's a cool game, maybe a bit short, but that's it. The point is, LeBron James doesn't have to prove to a high schooler that he's better at basketball than they are. Breath of the Wild is simply just miles better than Luigi's Mansion in all aspects, story, gameplay, and innovation. What else is there to argue about? This was honestly an unfair debate completely. You could divide Breath of the Wild's hours of playtime to complete in half, get rid of 3/4 of the map, remove the story completely, and this would still be a better game. I could keep going too, just a better game all around completely. The only thing Luigi's Mansion does better is simply having Luigi. This was a joke of a game battle, but I guess jokes are good.
I mean, I'm not laughing, but...
yeah, I was getting close to laughing.
All right, so I feel pretty KO'd. I feel like it was a 3-stock Smash Bros. Battle, and I just got 3-stocked.
You know, that was kind of how this just rolled out, so...
So my closing case, because you know what? You got to let the underdog talk.
Yeah,
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was a great game. Let's give it its honor. Mm-hmm. It allows players to do so much and explore so freely, but sometimes the power of too many choices is the downfall. You ever go into Wegmans and get hung up on what kind of ice cream you want because there's just too many? You ever go to Abbott's and you're like, you know what? Do I want the one with the cookie and the dinosaur mushrooms, or do I just want plain vanilla?
I don't think it was mushrooms, but yeah.
I don't know what I meant instead of mushrooms. Okay, so many newcomers will feel too overwhelmed to give the game the shot it deserves. How long did you play Breath of the Wild?
Like for maybe 7 hours, and I got stuck.
And I'm going to be honest, I probably played it about the same, 7 hours. I gave it a shot and then got stuck. Many newcomers already said that, whereas Luigi's Mansion is straight to the point with an easy-to-pick-up difficulty curve. Luigi's Mansion may only be 7 hours long, but that's 7 hours of fun gameplay and light puzzle-solving skills instead of mindlessly finding new collectibles or searching for weapons that will break a few fights later. Luigi's Mansion also introduced a whole new spin-off series to Mario. These games would later continue to grow in popularity. It also introduced new characters that will appear for years to come, such as Professor Egad. In conclusion, Luigi's Mansion planted a seed for Nintendo to grow from and fans to begin to love. But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was a full-blown tree that needed to be trimmed, so more than just the best climbers could enjoy it.
It's a good analogy, but sadly,
we look at every single website online comparing just Breath of the Wild to any other game, and it's just like, you know what, you're wrong. So I tried. This is a game battle between us, not a game battle between IGN, and I tried to prove to you why I think Luigi's Mansion is better. I rest my case.
No, I got your points. It just seems a little like you wouldn't... I'm trying to figure out how to say this right. You can prefer a game, but still know that it's worse than the other one. And I think that's... Because I would probably, if you gave me a choice between Luigi's Mansion and Breath of the Wild, I would probably prefer to play Luigi's Mansion, but I can still acknowledge that Breath of the Wild is the better game just because of what it did. People might choose, but if you show them the full perspective, they would know.
Okay, I think that is a respectable way to go down. I fought for Luigi's Mansion. We did good, but you do just have to kind of know your place sometimes, and it's not up there with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Wow, you're really just doing that?
Dude, you gotta know it, though. You gotta know it.
All right.
So that leads us into our next segment of what's new and what we've been playing, so let's head over there. Alright, so now we're in our closing section of what's new and what we've been playing. Homie Loe, do you have anything new that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Oh, here we go!
Yeah, so we got some codes for a game called Terror, emphasis on error, Bane, and we are going to be having a giveaway when we fully review the game next month. Be on the lookout for 2 giveaways for a code for the full game. Now, this isn't just like any crappy indie game that's like $2. This is actually like... It was on discount for $15, and I think it's like a full $30 game. So be on the lookout so you can get your own copy for free of Terror Error Bane.
Dude, I gotta download that game still.
I know, we have 3 codes left, and one of them needs to go to you.
Very cool. Anything else new that you want to talk?
No, I wish.
What have you been playing this week?
Well, before you laugh, mm-hmm. I was playing NBA 2K22.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, it's pretty fun. My brother got it for me for my birthday.
Yeah,
so I've been playing a little bit of that, and I have Zelda Ocarina of Time on here, but unfortunately I didn't get to playing that before you came over here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's really good. That's our next week.
Yeah.
Podcast. Excellent. So good to know that that's going good. Your boy, what's new with your boy? I actually got Wii Sports Original from a homie at work. Shout out to the homie Andrew. You're the GOAT. I also got a game code on Twitter I have to download. We already talked about that. And then also sometimes I just like to talk about what's new in life and what's going on in life a little bit more so than just games, because really, who's sticking around for this?
That's true. I could talk about more about life, but
so some stuff going on around life. I got some deck chairs. Put them outside today. I was sitting on the deck. It was fun. I read a book. I was playing
that deck is nice. All right.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I was happy about that. What have I been playing? Well, yesterday, which is Thursday at this point, but a couple days ago when this goes up, I was playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I was streaming that. You guys can check me out on the YouTube. You already know.
That's the only stream I won't watch because I don't want spoilers.
Okay. I also got Super Mario Maker 2. Made a couple videos of that. That went up. One went really well. 200 plus views.
That's crazy.
Super hype. And then the last game I've been playing is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Putting in some work with that.
Who hasn't been playing that, right?
I don't know. You gotta be a loser.
I don't know. Some new stuff with me, too, then. What's new? I might be getting, like, $1,400 back randomly from the government. Apparently, I missed a stimulus check.
Wow, yeah.
I don't know how.
You were in that, like, gray area. You were, like, working, but not over 18. So.
Yeah, and I quit before I turned 18, so it was weird. But I guess, the states approved it, so...
There you go.
I get 14. Might get a gaming PC. We'll see.
That'd be awesome.
Be able to stream.
Yeah, bro. Your channel will blow up.
I know.
Streaming helps.
Streaming helps for sure. So that's cool. And I thought there was another... Oh, yeah. I'm about to start my job. So I'll get money from that, too.
Cheers to that, brother. Yeah. Cheers to that. Because flea market season, that's like 2-3 more podcasts away. And then
I know. It'll be crazy. We'll be talking about that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure to go follow the Instagrams at Nintenbros93 and Nintenbros6 on Twitter if you want to see when that actually does happen. Because we will be getting stuff over there.
For sure. That wraps up what's new and what we've been playing. How about you just bring us home?
Yeah, guys, no closing points today because, we've already talked a lot. I already shouted out our Nintenbros social media, so be sure to check us out over there. And also, go make sure to subscribe to the YouTube where we post shorts. So, if you don't want the full thing, you can listen to the highlights of it.
Like, the KOs or the closing cases or anything worthwhile.
Those will be up there. I edit those, so if you see, them really in Breath of the Wild's favor, that's because of me. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And for me, be sure to check me out on Onaship on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of that stuff. I don't know when my next YouTube video is going to be out. I'm heavily debating on what I should even do right now. So
yeah. You can go check out your boy at Onaboat 97. I'm on the YouTube, IG, Twitter, just everywhere. I stream a lot. It's all good.
Yeah, no, the streams are great. Yeah, guys, that's been it. Breath of the Wild versus Luigi's Mansion. Let us know which one you thought was better. Message us on our Instagram and say deck chair for a shout out in the next Nintenbros podcast. And we will see you all next time. I think this was like 62, 63, whatever it was. Thank you all so much for being here. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.